Savannah when rangers from a wildlife rescue team received a frantic call from a local farmer. His voice shook as he explained that a young elephant had wandered into his land, drawn by the smell of stored grain. But before the rangers could even ask more questions, he added something chilling: the elephant was covered in bees. When the team arrived, they froze. The massive animal stood trembling, its gray hide almost unrecognizable beneath a black, swirling cloud of millions of bees. The elephant trumpeted in agony, stamping the ground in panic, but every movement only made the swarm angrier. It was clear the elephant had stumbled too close to a massive wild hive. Now, it was trapped in a living storm. The rangers had to act quickly. Approaching on foot was too dangerous. Anyone who went near would be attacked instantly. They drove in slowly with their jeep, using smoke canisters to distract the bees. Even so, the buzzing was deafening, and the thick cloud made it hard to see. The elephant, blinded and disoriented, charged at the vehicle in fear. For a tense moment, it seemed the rescue might end in disaster. But then, one ranger spotted a chance. If they could guide the elephant toward the nearby river, the water might provide relief. With hearts pounding, they created a smoky trail, honking the jeep's horn to draw the elephant's attention. Step by step, the massive creature stumbled toward the sound, its great ears flapping desperately. The rescue team followed, praying the plan would work. At last, the elephant reached the riverbank. With one final trumpet that shook the trees, it plunged into the water, sending waves crashing against the shore. The bees swirled above for a moment, furious and confused, but gradually dispersed, abandoning their attack. The exhausted animal collapsed in the shallows, its body shaking from the ordeal. The rangers waded in carefully, checking its injuries. The elephant's skin was covered in welts, some bleeding, its eyes nearly swollen shut. Yet it was still breathing, still alive. For hours, the team worked tirelessly, cooling the wounds with river water, applying soothing herbal pastes brought by local villagers, and feeding the weakened animal pieces of fruit. Slowly, the giant began to calm, its breathing steadying. The once pained trumpets turned into low rumbles, a sound of fragile trust. Days later, after constant care at a sanctuary, the elephant stood proudly once again. Its eyes, once swollen, now glistened with life, and its spirit seemed unbroken. The villagers who had once feared it now gathered to watch its recovery, realizing they had witnessed something extraordinary, not just the survival of a creature, but the power of compassion in the face of chaos. And when the elephant was finally released back into the wild, it paused at the edge of the forest. For a long moment, it lifted its trunk toward the humans who had saved it, as if offering silent gratitude, before vanishing into the trees, free, alive, and no longer alone. Weeks passed after the dramatic rescue, but the story of the elephant and the swarm of bees didn't fade away, it grew into something bigger. Word spread through nearby villages, and soon journalists and wildlife activists arrived to see the young elephant, now named Nandi, meaning joyful. At first, Nandi was cautious. Even though her wounds had healed, she still flinched whenever insects buzzed near her ears. The rangers knew trauma lingered longer than physical scars. They spent hours sitting quietly by her enclosure, offering fruit, humming softly, and waiting for her to approach on her own terms. Slowly, she began to trust them, brushing their hands gently with her trunk, a gesture of affection that melted their hearts. But Nandi's journey was not just about healing. Her rescue sparked conversations across the region. Many villagers had long seen elephants as dangerous pests, animals that destroyed crops and threatened livelihoods. Yet, watching the rangers risk their lives to save a creature covered in bees changed perspectives. If they can protect her, one farmer admitted, maybe we can learn to live alongside them. Wildlife organizations used Nandi's story as a powerful example. They held meetings with locals, teaching new ways to safeguard crops without harming elephants, such as using chili fences, which elephants dislike, or setting up beehive barriers. Ironically, the very creatures that nearly killed Nandi became part of the solution. Bees deter elephants from raiding farms, creating a natural balance between people and wildlife. Meanwhile, Nandi herself grew stronger every day. She began to explore larger areas of the sanctuary, splashing in ponds, rolling in the mud, and even playing with other rescued elephants. Her playful side returned. She loved to grab tree branches and shake them until leaves showered down like confetti. Rangers often laughed, saying she had a mischievous spirit that refused to be broken. One evening, as the sun set over the savannah, a group of schoolchildren visited the sanctuary. They had heard about Nandi's ordeal and came carrying small drawings of elephants they had made in class. As they stood by the fence, wide-eyed with wonder, Nandi slowly approached. She extended her trunk toward the children, sniffing gently, before raising it high into the air and trumpeting loudly. The children squealed with delight, clapping and cheering. It was as if she was no longer just a rescued animal, she had become a symbol of resilience, a reminder of how kindness can bridge the gap between humans and wildlife. By the time Nandi was ready to be released back into the wild, she was no longer just another elephant. She carried with her the hopes of an entire community, proof that saving one life can inspire many others to care. When the gates finally opened, she stepped into the open grasslands with strength in her stride and freedom in her heart, leaving behind not just gratitude, but a legacy of change.